Good morning, everyone, and welcome to my channel, Blue Lunar Night 777. I go by Leash, and I'm going to do a general reading for today. Today's date is the 19th of June, 2025, but whenever this message reaches you is when your soul is ready to receive the information. Before we start, I'm going to go ahead and say a prayer. Divine Mother and Father of the highest frequency of love, guide me and surround me in your protection. Allow my guides to assist me in this reading. May it be clear, may it be true, and may it be understood in love, and may it bring peace. Ashe, and so it is. So we're going to start off with the Sacred Geometry Activations Oracle, just to get a feel for the energy for the day, and then we'll go in depth with the channeling and the reading. But how's everybody doing? I haven't done this. I haven't posted a reading, in a very long time. The last couple of years has been a huge timeline shift for me, where I needed to clear up some karmic debt. And I don't know if anybody else is resonating with that, where you were on a particular path for a very long time and you were sure of what you had to do, and then you get pulled off of your assignment per se, or your calling to handle a particular assignment. That's been my life for the last 2 years, and it really was working on my heart chakra and opening myself up to receiving and feeling worthy of true, pure love, self-love, love that didn't have any attachments, love that was given freely with the anticipation, the only expectation that I had during these last 2 years was that whatever I did out of the kindness of my heart and from a place of pure love would be rewarded by the divine in some way, shape, or form. I wasn't looking for the reward from the other person per se. I wasn't expecting anything tangible, but obviously when you are pouring out love to someone, especially if you're in a personal relationship, reciprocity is always the name of the game. It should always be the name of the game, right? So not so much of a tit for tat, but if you are filling someone else's cup and you are speaking pouring into them, using the 5 love languages, you should receive that back in some way, shape, or form. And if not, then, have a conversation with that person. But yeah, enough about what I've been going through, and Spirit just wanted me to share that with everyone, because there may be some of you who are in that situation right now where maybe you are doing a lot, maybe you are giving it your all, you're giving it your best, and Spirit wants you to pay attention and make sure that you are doing a check within yourself and within your relationships to make sure that you feel fulfilled in whatever it is that you're receiving back within those relationships, right? Sometimes we do things out of the kindness of our heart, and because I know myself and maybe a lot of you are people who love to do things like acts of service is one way that you show your loved ones that you care and you love them. And people who are into that type of expression of love, a lot of times they fill their own cup by serving. So And it goes back to me saying it's out of the kindness of my heart that I was in relationship for the last 2 years. But yeah, you got to be careful with that because you naturally feel fulfilled in serving, right? And then but receiving service back, you really got to check in with yourself and see what it is that makes you feel fulfilled in your relationships. Like, what fulfills me in one relationship, and I'm talking about friendships, parentships, family ships, boyfriendships, marriageships, girlfriendships, right? Work relations. It's not going to be the same. So you have to get clear. And the expectations need to be communicated with whoever you're in relationship with, right? Okay. Just some food for thought. Okay, we got out here consciousness, empowerment, remembrance, and divine masculine. A lot of us are becoming aware. A lot of us have gone through this phase where we had to learn a lot of lessons. And this goes back to why, thank you, Spirit, this is why I started off talking about what has been going on with me for the last 2 years. A lot of us have been on this journey towards consciousness and self-actualization. And we're coming up into a phase right now where we are fully aware. We were looking for ourselves. We were trying to come home to ourselves, but we didn't understand how to do that. So we embarked on this journey of self-realization, self-actualization, getting more in tune with spirit, trying to understand, how universal law works, diving deeper into esoterics, diving deeper into metaphysics, just trying to understand a little bit more every day. Every day. A lot of us went on a deep dive, like really, really submerged ourselves into understanding the universe, because when you study the universe and when you study God and you study nature and you study natural law, you're getting closer to the divine. That's first and foremost, but you're also getting closer to yourself, right? So with this consciousness card coming out here, it's just a confirmation that we are moving back into a state where we are not in autopilot. I felt like I was on autopilot for the last 2 years, but it was also important for me to go through that phase and go through that and jump into that timeline and take care of those things so that I can clear out some karmic debt, and so that the other person can also do what they had to do karmically as well, right? So it says the frequency of consciousness supports our ability to focus our attention on all the multidimensional aspects that show up so that we can include them in our reality. Ashe. So instead of sitting down and wondering why things were happening to me, I was able to have a bird's eye view and understand why I was going through and why I was in certain situations and scenarios and why things were unfolding the way they were unfolding. And because I knew myself and because I devoted a lot of my time and energy into becoming more aware of how things work, on listening and being able to discern God's messages and signs and synchronicities and so on and so forth, I was able to journey through that time consciously, even though I had stepped away from doing readings and stepped away from being so devoted to spiritual practice and my way of living and paying attention to signs and synchronicities. It was almost like I didn't need to be actively aware of signs and synchronicities and things of that nature anymore, because there was a phase in my life where that was very prominent. That was all I paid attention to. I paid attention to the time. I paid attention to certain animals that would show up. I paid attention to synchronicities. Now it's encoded. It feels like it's encoded in my DNA, and I'm not so much surprised by it anymore. It's almost like there's an expectation for it, and when I get it, it's a confirmation for me. And I don't feel like a child in a state of, oh, mommy, look at this, look at that. Do you see that bird? Do you see this? Do you see that? It's almost like, thank you. I knew. Thank you for the message, and thank you for the confirmation. So we're shifting into a higher level of consciousness. The second card that comes out here is empowerment. Empowerment says the frequency of empowerment supports our ability to show up fully and completely, uniting us with others in deep trust that we are all connected through the same source, Ashe. It's almost like the channeling is coming through, like right before I get into the card. So feeling that, and that's exactly what the feeling is. It's a feeling of your consciousness being upgraded. You've gone through the fire, you've graduated, you've elevated into a certain state of consciousness, and now you're empowered, right? And so with this empowerment comes a more centered and stable sense of self, right? You know who you are. You know what you are capable of. You know your flaws, and that's a big one, right? A lot of people walk around and they're not conscious, or they are conscious of what their flaws are, but they're afraid to admit it to themselves. So when they come up in disagreements or instances where they're being shown what their weaknesses are, it's almost like an attack, and they get defensive and they put their guards up. You know what your weaknesses are. You've worked on your weaknesses, or what you feel like are your weaknesses. You've come up with a game plan. You've strategized. You've practiced. You've put things in practice that help you assist. For instance, for me, I suffer from time blindness. I've suffered from time blindness my whole entire life, okay? Once I get hyperfixated on something, time does not exist to my brain anymore. It's just about me and whatever the task is, or whatever the thing is that's in front of me that I'm focused on. Time disappears. And I've struggled with time my whole entire life. I've struggled with being on time. I've struggled with just anything revolving there being time attached to it. And for the first part of my journey, when I began to awaken, I really, really, really hated time. I hated Chronos. I hated it because I felt like time was the enemy. Like I would wake up with more than enough time to get myself ready for work, get my daughter ready for school, and one little thing would throw me off. I'd become hyper fixated on something, and that would take precedence over time. And by the next thing you know, I should have left the house 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago. And now I'm racing against time to get to the places where I need to go. And it was really a struggle. And I began to say this mantra to myself in the beginning: time has no control over me. Time has no control over me. Time has no control over me. Because it would incite so much anxiety and fear. And we just had this toxic relationship where I would have enough time and then I would test my ability to bend time, but in the most unrealistic way. And then I would be upset with time that sometimes I would beat time. Sometimes I would, right? But it was just so super toxic. It was like, why do you want to live like this? And eventually I had to get real with myself and say, okay, what is the problem here? Why? It's not time, it's you. Okay? Does time speed up for you? Absolutely. Should you allow it to work against you, or should you allow it to work for you? And that's when I couldn't change time, right? So I changed the way I looked at time. And I started to utilize alarms as a tool in order for me to stay ahead of time or stay on time. Before, I hated alarms. I hated the fact that my alarm had to go off. I hated to use, I used alarms, but I hated them. Like when they went off, I was angry. It got me upset because I felt like I should have more time. Why is time moving so quickly? And why is this alarm going off? It was almost like the alarm was like a tease, like poking at me. Especially in those moments when I'm hyper fixated. Now, so I went from feeling like time has no control over me to time controls every aspect of my day. And it's so funny, I'm laughing at myself because I have like 10 alarms. I have an alarm for when I need to wake up. I have an alarm for when I need to wake up. I have an alarm for when I need to wake my daughter up. I have an alarm for when I need to start working. I have an alarm for my first meeting. I have an alarm for lunch. I have an alarm for when I need to go get my daughter from school. I have an alarm for when I should stop working because I cannot trust my brain to remember time the way time needs remembering. So I utilize what I have in order to assist me so that I don't have to add another burden or stress to my brain. My brain is processing a lot of information every day. I'm getting channels, messages. I'm working full time. I have a daughter. I have a whole household to take care of and run. I have to remember. It's just a lot, right? And we're all going through it. I'm not special. I'm just sharing my experience so that I can help someone who's struggling with time. Someone who's listening to this message is struggling with time. And my advice to you is to embrace the fact that you can bend time and time moves super quick for you. And instead of looking at it as an enemy and something that's always there to judge you and something that people can use as a tool to judge you, use it to your advantage, right? Next card we have out is remembrance. The frequency of remembrance supports our memory of everything that we have gone through in a soul, as a soul and body, providing us with valuable information and tools to flow gracefully with and in this life. So this is a remembrance here, right? Of utilizing what is available to you, what technology is available to you. Technology is not something that is just in our current lifetime. We've always had technology. Technology has always been a part of humanity, right? But in different forms. Every culture, every civilization has their own form of technology. We get so caught up in thinking that it's all computer chips and it's tablets and its screens and its devices. And yes, that is true for this era of civilization, but there were always forms of technology. Civilizations dating far back to the beginning of time utilize anything that you can utilize in order to assist you in deciphering and understanding your environment and yourself, and use as a conduit to spirit is a form of technology. So what I'm getting is that you need to draw on, and you really need to sit down and meditate on what can you utilize to help you to help you in whatever your struggle is. So for me and for a lot of my collective, it'll be time management. What things can you utilize? And I'm not saying I'm perfect. Sometimes I hear my alarm and I may be in a task or I may be in a conversation and I'll completely forget what the alarm is for. I'll say, I'll snooze it and forget. But it's the habit. It's getting the body in the habit of knowing that it needs to be doing something at a particular time that will assist you, instead of resisting it, saying, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I hate that I have to do this. Why do I have to do this now? It's the resistance of the mind that translates into the body that will continue to keep you in a perpetual cycle of not being able to be in control of whatever aspect of yourself that is out of whack or not operating at its optimum capacity, right? And it's your resistance to using outside assistance, because we're meant to feel like you should have it together. Like, you shouldn't need an alarm to tell you when to get up. You shouldn't need this to tell you, that you shouldn't need your phone or device to tell you that something isn't healthy or something has too much salt, sugar, whatever it is. It's not true. These things are here. These things were invented to help. These things were created to assist. Utilize them. Utilize them. Last card we have out here is Divine Masculine. The frequency of Divine Masculine supports our strong focus and active side, allowing it to express itself while helping us to bring our dreams and ideas into form with kindness and wisdom. Ashe. So everything that I've just described was me integrating my masculinity in a healthy way. Prior to me becoming awakened, I was always in my masculine side, was not in touch with my feminine side due to childhood sexual trauma. I abandoned my femininity in certain aspects, but who I became was more of a masculine outward like energy, right? So although I wanted to feel feminine, I felt feminine. My energy was my mask, the energy that I was pushing out was more so masculine. I was very assertive, not really giving myself time to be soft. I didn't know what softness was. And then because I was always in a masculine mind state of do, go, go, it caused an imbalance, and I was not able to utilize that energy in the way that it needed to be utilized, because it was always being utilized instead of taking a break. Okay, I'm gonna leave that there. Divine Masculine card has a 22, which is a 4, breaks down to a 4, which is stability, grounding, firm foundations. We're gonna go to the Psychic Tarot deck and just get some more energy out here for the channeling. But yeah, the 4 cards that came out was consciousness, empowerment, remembrance, divine masculine. Okay, for some of you, this is not for everybody, but because you have gone through this process, and because of where you are in your self-actualization and self-love journey, and because you are open and you are not in fear of change, and you understand how when it's time for things to come to an end and things are falling apart, it doesn't necessarily, you embrace the falling apart, you embrace the change, you embrace the tower, and you remember who you are, and you know that you are worthy, and you know that you've put in the work, and you know that you've cleaned out all of those parts of you that would prevent you from experiencing a true divine union. You are going to, or you have recently met your counterpart. That's just for some of you. That's just for some of you. And if you are part of that collective, I will say this. I will say that if you've really worked on yourself and you're ready to be in union with someone, without the ups and the downs, and I'm not talking about these unions that you have to run to tarot to figure out what your person is thinking or feeling, or you have to run to tarot because they still have some unresolved issues of fidelity or secrecy, or they're still attached to someone else, or someone else is still attached to them and they're still entertaining. I'm not talking about that type of union. That is not divine union. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm guilty of feeling like being in that situation, but I'm here to tell you that true divine union does not require you to listen to tarot readings to understand the other person. No, absolutely not. But then at the same time, if you do not understand yourself fully, and you cannot articulate and have conversations with yourself about yourself, the good, the bad, the ugly, then yes, you will continue to run into people and you will continue to experience people who are in that same boat, okay? You will continue to experience people and be in union with people, individuals that will come with an energy of confusion because you are confused internally, okay? When you are ready to elevate out of that type of relationship, you have to get serious. You really have to go and sit down with God. You really have to start manifesting the type of partner that will be a true reflection of yourself, okay? And if you have done the work, I'm not saying when you're perfect. I'm saying when you are able to face yourself and when you are able to outwardly and openly admit to all the things that are not pretty, all the parts of yourself that are flawed and may remain flawed, but you are willing to work on them, or you're willing to say, I need assistance in these areas, and I'm actively helping myself. That is when you will start to get clear. Start getting clear. And I'm not talking about what the person looks like physically, who they are to you, how they feel in your heart, how they will make you feel, how they will show up for you, how they will feel about you. You start getting clear. A lot of you may have thought, is it a lot? No, let me take that back. Some of you may have abandoned the idea of marriage when you started your spiritual journey. Like that wasn't important, right? Some of you may be rethinking that. Some of you may be rethinking the idea of marriage. If you are rethinking the idea of marriage, or if you are confused about whether you want to be married, right? I'm talking about in the legal sense. I want you to get clear. I want you to start doing your homework on whatever religion that you align to, that closely aligns to, or whether it be a religion that you currently practice, or whether it be a religion that you belonged to, or a religion that you feel is closely aligned to your values and your interpretation of the divine creator. I want you to start doing your homework about what that religion says about partnership and union. Start doing your homework and getting clear, because you'll need those instructions and those guideposts to discern who your divine counterpart is when they come in, or if they are currently here and you're confused, or if you feel like somebody may be your divine counterpart but you're a little confused, because God is not the author of confusion. I'm sorry to tell you. And that was a hard pill for me to swallow for a long time. And then some of you are entertaining people that are not all the way there. They have like 80% of 80 to 85% of what you desire in a partner, or what God put on your heart is qualities of your partner. They're not it. They're good for right now, but I'm sorry to break it to you, they're not it. If they're not it right now, they're not it. So you can keep practicing with that person, but if they're not telling you and showing you things that God put on your heart without you expressing to them those things, or without you showing them your notes or your channelings or readings, they're not it. But they're a glimpse. But you know deep down inside they can't. They're not the whole 100%. Okay, I got some cards that fell out on the floor. Okay, the first one is new beginnings. Yes. Second card out is partnerships and alliances. Stand your ground. Rest and rejuvenate, and authority. Okay, so we got some really good, powerful cards. Like I said, we're in a new phase. A lot of us have just jumped out of a timeline, and we're in a new timeline where partnerships and alliances are the key to the relationship. Now, when I was talking about the divine counterparts, the partnerships and alliances came out. So this is another key factor. If your person will want to be in partnership with you in every sense of the word, in every aspect, right? No one's ever going to be pulling all the weight in any one area. Okay? And if you're with someone who is selfish, you have to take a look at yourself. Are you reflecting selfishness within the relationship, or are you reflecting selfishness? Is there a part of yourself that you are denying to where it's showing outwardly? You're being mirrored like some sort of deprivation, right? Are you depriving yourself something, and that's why you're being shown deprivation in your relationship? If not, then you really have to start taking account for what's happening. You really have to start looking around and asking yourself if the relationship is serving you. Okay? And it sounds very, very selfish, right? Because relationships are supposed to be selfless. However, if you are part of this collective, you are a giver. You are always in servitude. You are always serving. That is your happy place. That is where you find fulfillment. A lot of times we will enter into relationships with people who are takers. Okay? And they may give, but it's breadcrumbs. Okay? If you are in a situation like this, you need to stand your ground. You need to stand up for yourself. If you are having doubts about pushback that you'll receive from this person, because a lot of times those people are very manipulative and they know how to make you feel bad for wanting more. They will guilt trip you. They will gaslight you. They will stone cold you. The list goes on and on. The list goes on and on, right? And you can watch videos on this, of the symptoms of manipulative people, narcissistic people, avoidant people, all the symptoms. And givers, empaths, all like, it's like we have we're like a lighthouse for people who just want to leech and suck the life and the energy out of us. And the time is no more. We are tired. Okay? It's time for you to have some rest. Some of you are coming out of a phase of where you had a lot of takers in your life and you stood your ground, and it wasn't easy. People on the outside of the situation may have judged you because it was something that happened abruptly, and from the outside, the so-called relationship was great, it was good, but it was you doing damage control that made the relationship look good. Okay? It wasn't that the actual partnership was great. It was you being able to wear many hats, you being able to shift and change your energy and your mood, you being able to display etiquette and do that little dance in front of company and outsiders. It was you knowing that you can't overshare with people certain things in your personal relationship, especially when you're not ready to let it go. So people really didn't know the half, but you stood your ground. When people challenged you and said, do you think you're making a mistake, or why would you do it like that, or why would you say this, and why, whatever. You faced many challenges from all angles, from different angles, but you knew that it was the right thing for you to do because of your empowerment, your remembrance, and your healthy divine masculine stepping in and saying, no, absolutely not. This is not for me. We have come to the end of the road. And if you haven't gone through this phase yet and you're feeling like you're being pushed to your brink, like you're like a kettle on the stove and the water is just boiling inside. It's just the temperature is just rising and rising, and you're getting ready to pop like the whistle. This is definitely for you. Stand your ground. Stand your ground. Especially if you've been in a peaceful mode and you've just been trying to figure out how you were going to navigate, the ending of this cycle, and you're being met with hostility and conflict. Strike while the iron is hot. I'm going to tell you that. If you can't find a way to initiate it and the opportunity comes for you to express yourself, use that opportunity to stand your ground. It will just continue to stand your ground. It's not going to be easy, but you've known for a long time at this point, for the collective that I'm speaking to, you've known for a long time that there needed to be a change and that there needed to be endings in certain aspects. Use the time. Use that time if you are not able to, or you haven't found the right way to bring the conversation to the table. If conflict comes to you, use it to stand your ground and stay 10 toes. It's not going to be easy, but just hold on to that feeling and that knowing and trusting the divine creator did not make you uncomfortable for no reason. The divine creator did not tell you time and time again, this is not fulfilling you. But if you want to do it out of the kindness of your heart, do it with pure intent, not with anger, not with malice, not with, upset, not with jealousy in your heart. None of that. Clean your heart out. After that period, you will have rest. Okay, you will be able to rejuvenate. A lot of you need to go out in nature, go to the park, ground, sit on the grass. Maybe if you are in the inner city or something, maybe you do need to sit on the floor. Maybe that's the only way you can, ground, is to get low. Don't sit in your chairs and on your couches for a while. Like get down on your floor. If you don't have access to grass and nature and, park or something, you'll be surprised at what sitting on your floor will do for you. And while you're down there, work on your hips, work on your hip flexors. We carry a lot of anxiety, fear, stress in our hips. So do that while you're down there on the floor. And the last card we have here is Authority, which has a number 4 on it. It's right underneath Divine Masculine at 22, breaking down to a 4. So there has been a full integration of your masculinity in a healthy way, and you are balanced right now, and you are your own authority. You and God, right? There's a halo behind this Roman dignitary in the card, almost like that ring that you would see behind saints in Catholic religion. It's the only influence over your authority is God. There's no body, no person who has dominion over yourself. A lot of you used to give your power away, knowingly and unknowingly, because of the mismanagement of your masculine energy, your inability to utilize your masculine energy in the way it needs to be utilized. And we are not in that phase anymore. So that is beautiful. I love that for us. Okay, we're going to get one from the Universal Weight Tarot. Can I get one card, please? One card. Ooh, the World came out. Yes. Cycles ending and new cycles beginning. A completion of a phase. And we have the 9 of Wands in reverse at the bottom of the deck. So this which is a stand your ground card, right? And it's in reverse now. We are out of this phase. We are out of this phase of feeling like we have to push back on everybody. We have to defend. We have to be in defense mode. This is beautiful. Can I get more on the World? Can I get more on the World, please? Okay, the 5 of Swords came out, so that there's an end of deception. Yeah. You had certain energies that came into your environment with the intent to deceive you. Okay? They came with the intent to deceive you. And little did they know, they thought that you were gullible. They thought that they can get over on you. They thought that you were a pushover. They thought that they can take advantage of your kindness. They thought that your kindness was weakness. But little do they know that just because you are kind doesn't mean that you're not intelligent, doesn't mean that you don't have divine insight, doesn't mean that your ancestors are not working in the background to keep you aware and keep you protected. So they came with the intentions, with ill intentions, and now they got to walk away with their tails tucked between their tails tucked between their legs. It's like that feeling of ain't no fun when the rabbits got the gun. That's what I'm getting from this. Thank you. Let me get one more. Ashe. Two of Wands. So right now we have infinite opportunities. And we're in a phase of waiting patiently for things to manifest. With the world, there's an ending of a cycle and the beginning of a new cycle. We've cleared out this energy of having to be in defensive mode all the time. We've gotten rid of the deceptive people, or the people who, thank you, Spirit, the people who use their words and their logic to manipulate. Ashe. Ashe. So what are we waiting for? Let me see. Let's see. What is to come? What are we waiting for right now? Five of Cups in reverse came out. Okay, so Five of Cups is usually a card of loss, of remorse, of feeling like we didn't get what we were owed. But it came out reversed. It came out reversed. There's an opportunity here that we may not be seeing, because in both of the cards, the Five of Cups and the Two of Wands, our backs are towards stability. Our back is towards a wand that is anchored to the castle in the Two of Wands. And our back is towards Two Cups. So there may be an opportunity that we're not looking at. Or for some of you, there may be an opportunity. You may have suffered like a loss in romance, or an emotional loss recently for some of you in the collective. And there's an opportunity to not gain what you've lost, but there's a missed opportunity here for some type of emotional fulfillment. And with it reversed, I feel like you're now discovering it, or you will be discovering that opportunity soon. With the Two of Wands, there's two courses of action that you can take. There's one in the background, like maybe like a contingency plan, but there's infinite opportunities of ways you can go. Okay, I'm gonna close out with the African Goddess Rising Oracle cards. I'm gonna get some advice from an African goddess here for energies that we should embody for the day. Okay, so we got the goddess Allah. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that. But she is the goddess of grief in Igbo. Her temple is the lovers. Her element is bush. It says ancient earth mother Allah is the foremost Igbo Alusi. Goddess Allah oversees motherhood, fertility, and the afterlife. After death, humans return to the womb of Allah, replanted in the soul to reincarnate. Her guidance is give spirit your grief, bawl it out, wail it out, cry it out, sob, shriek, shed tears, surrender it. Embodiment. You are holding unprocessed grief. You want to skip over it and go back to normal. This ending. But grief doesn't go away because you ignore it. The only way to healing is to walk through it. Losing a loved one is the ultimate heartbreak, but you also experience grief after breakups, job loss, and disappointments. Self-love and self-care are required. Ask for support. Be gentle with yourself. And this is the Goddess Declaration. I'm supported by my loved ones, those who are seen and those who are unseen. Ashe. This was a beautiful read. I hope that you got what you needed to get out of it. And if you enjoyed this reading, I hope that you come back for more to come. Peace.